Stay right here for our final news roundup and information overload.
See this guy with the pillows on Fox? Yeah. My pillow guy, Mike Lindell. Where is Mike? He is the greatest. I have never seen so many ads for so long. And you know what? I think he gets them for like peanuts. First of all, he does make a great product, great pillows. I actually use them, believe it or not. But he's been a supporter from day one. And I said, you know, I want you to be my ad buyer because I guarantee you he makes great deals. So I haven't asked him yet. Will you be my ad buyer, please, Mike? The My Pillow guy. Thank you, Mike. And he's been with us right from the beginning, along with a lot of other folks, actually.
All right, that was the president when he was in Minnesota with one of his rallies. Glad you're with us. News Roundup, information overload. Now, you've heard me talking now for a long time about all the great products. When you go to MyPillow.com, Sean Hannity Square, and they're the best products, and they work for me. They work, and I've gotten to know Mike Lindell, and he's in studio with us. This is not an infomercial about his pillows. They are the best. Always go to the Sean Hannity Square because you're going to save money and you're going to get twice the value. Just a hint. But I've gotten to know Mike Lindell. I consider you a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
You now employ, 1,600 people?
Yes.
In Minnesota?
Yep.
Yeah. And now what is more fascinating about you is what you do outside of work. Because you've gotten pretty wealthy, I would imagine, at this point. You have a new book, and I've never seen a cover like this. We'll put it up on Hannity.com. It's a hologram on both sides. Yeah. And I don't know how you did this. This is your mugshot, the ugly one, right?
Well, that's for the day the drug dealers did an intervention. I wasn't in jail that day.
Okay, you look terrible.
Yep.
Okay, and then the happy Mike Lindell, from Crack Addict to CEO. What are the odds? That's the name of the book. From Crack Addict to CEO. Yep. On the back of the book, there's a hologram. You speaking, and this is you giving your testimony, because you now are devoting a very big portion of your life telling a story that is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Because people get so hooked into these drugs, and you were there. Right. You hit bottom.
Absolutely.
That they never come back.
Right.
We're losing every single week. Yeah. 300 people a week in this country because of opioids.
Yep.
So I want you to tell us, you tell a story in the beginning of the book. There's a great foreword by Dr. Ben Carson, which I liked. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was great. I like with the president. You talk about the day in February of 2007 in your prologue when your family business, you're renting it out of a shed on the verge of a hostile takeover, about to lose your house. Your bank accounts were down to nothing. Mm-hmm. You had been married to your wife. Today is the 11th anniversary of you being sober, right?
Yep, January 16, 2009.
All the hidden stuff you write, alcohol, drugs were taking their toll. You owed your bookie, you were a big gambler. Yep. $45,000. That's not easy to pay off when you're addicted to crack.
That's right.
How did you do it?
God, faith, Jesus. But what happened when I believe all addictions come from childhood. My parents divorced when I was 7, back when divorces weren't common. And I got put into a new school. I was shy then. I would either show off, like, hey, watch me jump out of a bus window, do things like that to try and fit in. And I couldn't talk to people. I was very kind of almost like introverted, but I look back now and it was, my self-worth inside. Things that happen in childhood or trauma, our veterans, when you get trauma, any trauma can manifest into pain and unworthiness. And then you take drugs and stuff to mask the pain. And that's what I did. I got into cocaine first, then crack.
Start with the cocaine. 1990.
No, cocaine was about 1983, 84. Yeah.
Okay. And you started out, it was a fun drug, I guess, to you, you thought?
Well, I could talk to people then. I could take it. I felt good. I felt, I didn't feel like, I could talk to people and not feel, you can't get rejected if you don't talk to people. So then when I took cocaine, I could talk to people and I felt like I was on top of the world. And I was a very functioning cocaine addict for 20 years. All the way through the 80s and 90s.
Almost unheard of.
Yeah. Very, I had a family, raised a family. I had successful business. I was always an entrepreneur. I had lunch wagon, carpet cleaning business, but I had bars and restaurants. Not good for an addict.
Right.
And
how much were you spending on cocaine a day?
Oh, back then, maybe $100. But back then I had a huge gambling habit. I bet on football. I owed bookies, big money.
Yeah.
They'd come and they'd show up on Tuesday to get their money, and it wasn't fun.
How did you not get your legs broken?
Well, I ended up paying them, and there's you'll have to read a lot of that in the book. I was a lot of paying them. I had a guy that would they'd give me some time to pay, but I would never learn my lesson on that. It was almost I would just keep doing it over and over, but when it all switched to crack in the early 2000s, that's a different drug than cocaine. It was just you get so paranoid and the stuff that goes with it. But at about the same time, I invented my pillow. God gave me this dream of my pillow so I could put everything I had into this pillow, and it gave me good self-worth. When I sold it, I was turned down everywhere. When I sold it at home shows and fairs, I could talk to people where I couldn't talk to them otherwise because they'd come back the next day and tell me how it helped them so much. It helped them so much, it made me feel good inside. It wasn't about the money. And that, I went on for all through that. You got a divorce. Everything happened, like you say, in 2007. I lost everything. I lost my wife at the time left because she couldn't take more. These guys were taking it. We were labeling the pillows in our living room, and we got into so we got a divorce, 20 years, and these guys were taking the company. In 2008, though, that's when the drug dealers. I was up 14 days and had
on a bender, they call it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And
when you say you were up, you were awake for 14 days.
Awake, yes, and doing crack. I was downtown Minneapolis. I was hiding out. I actually had a warrant out for my arrest for a diving thing, if I got put in jail there, I was avoiding that because I was going to be found innocent. So I was hiding out. But I was up 14 days. I come out of the room, and they're all three standing there, and there was an intervention. And I go, "What are you guys doing?" They go, "You've been up for 14 days. We're shutting you off." And I went down. Two of them,
intervention by
drug dealers.
Unbelievable.
Right, and the two of them left, and the one guy stayed there, and I waited him out till he fell asleep. I was almost out of crack, and they did run out, and he fell asleep. I hit the streets of Minneapolis.
Isn't that amazing? You wouldn't think drug addicts would want you to stop doing drugs, but you got lucky, really.
Right. Well, here's what happened. I went down the streets for an hour. I couldn't find any crack. Nobody would sell it to me. I'm offering $20 for a $5 rock. I came back upstairs, and here's what he said. He's sitting up for me. He goes, "Give me that phone. I'm going to take that picture you're going to need for that book you've been telling us about." And he said, "You've been telling us for years," which I had told them and all my friends too, that this pillow is just a platform for God, and you're going to come back and help us all out of this addiction life we're living someday. And we're not going to let you die on us. In other words, I was their hope. And that meant a lot to me. I think back to that. They're going, "Wow, these guys really believe me."
And that's the picture in the hologram.
That's the picture in the hologram that he took that day. And two of those guys work for me now. They're born again Christians.
I want people to know we put the book on Hannity.com. From Crack Addict to CEO. What are the odds? Mike Lindell. You're not making a penny on the book. You're putting it into your foundation to help people get off drugs.
Right. It's called the Lindell Recovery Network. When I launched that, Sean, in about 2 months, it's going to help. This is a God idea that I got in prayer. I've been working on it 2 years. This money is going to go launching the Lindell Recovery Network, which is going to help millions of addicts and employ tens of thousands of ex-addicts.
Tell me how. So you make the decision, the intervention occurs. They're not even selling you crack, that's almost. I've watched enough of these drug shows,
right?
And the ones that have the dealers. They don't care. They'll purposefully put a hot shot in a bag of heroin because then the addicts on the street think, "Oh, that's a really good drug because it's more powerful." People,
Well, I didn't quit. I didn't quit that day. That was the spring of 2008. One thing happened to me in December of 2008. 1 month before I quit, my friend came to me. His name was Dick, and he came to me. I was losing everything was gone in on the next house I was losing, all in the alone in these woods And he showed up, and he had been clean for 4 years, and I knew about it. But I hadn't seen him in 4 years. Now, he was my equal. We grew up together. We both started cocaine at the same time. We had both started crack at the same time. And he had quit 4 years earlier. I heard he found the Lord, and he came walking in and I go, "Dick, what are you doing here?" He goes, "What's going on?" And I said, "Well, as long as you're here, I got a question. Is it boring?" I asked him if it was boring. Because and I asked him questions for almost an hour because he was my hope match. I call him a hope match. That guy was my equal, and if he could do it, I felt there was my hope. And then a month later, on January 16, 2009, I said, I knew that day, people say, was that your bottom? I knew that the next day that, a bottom, I made sure I didn't have any money, so it'd be the greatest comeback ever and show people that, with God, all things are possible. But that day I quit, I knew the next day I would get 2 reels of my life, like a drive-in movie theater where you change the reels I used to work at. Yeah. Reel A would be my calling, and reel B would be whatever was going to happen if I didn't quit that day. And I knew that. And so that day,
I can tell you what it is. You'd be dead.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. But I did quit. I woke up the next day, and I prayed for the desire to be gone. Now, the desire was gone, but 2 months later, I felt drawn to go back to our faith-based treatment center at a church, and I went in there. It was different than any secular center I'd ever been in, where they shame you, you do these drugs, and you hurt your family, and you feel bad enough as it is. But this place was different. I walked in, he says, tell us about your father. I go, well, what do you mean? My parents divorced. I had a great upbringing, And he starts digging into stuff that happened in childhood that made me feel like I wasn't worthy.
So now you're getting to root causes.
At root causes.
That you're never going to get to if you're numbing yourself.
You're never going to get to, and you're not going to get to, and I hate to say it, in secular treatment centers. They're praying. In our country right now, I view, Sean, is that we have an opportunity. I was with the guy a month ago, and you know what he said? He goes, Mike, he was this billionaire guy, and he goes, to get our country back to God, he knew the stuff I was doing out there, it would take the Great Depression, because people then pray and they think things are bad. And I said, no. I said, the Great Depression, they were praying for physical things. Right now, we have the biggest opportunity in history. We have addiction. Addiction, everybody's praying for their addicts. Their addicts' families are praying for their souls. And addiction affects every single person, no matter how many forks you eat with, in one form or another.
I watch all those shows. Yeah. You watch the Intervention show.
Right, yeah.
The Interventionist is this lady that used to be addicted to drugs, and she just takes on individual cases.
Right.
All right, stay right there. You're just fascinating. I think I'm going to keep you. Because I can't, I sit here, I'm mesmerized when you talk.
Okay.
The book you got a hologram cover from when he was a crack addict, and then the beautiful face that you have today, and then a picture when you were a young boy. This is when all the trauma,
all the trauma. Yep.
And then speaking before
at university, when I got a doctorate degree at Liberty University, I could speak finally without a podium.
I have a doctorate from there.
Yeah, awesome.
Convocation.
The convocation. Yeah.
All right, 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. Our buddy Mike Lindell is with us. I want to remind you in this day and age, you've got to protect. You want privacy? You want your emails, your text messages? You want it hacked into? What about ransomware and malware and spyware? And what are the layers of protection you need to have full-on protection? Well, that's where Norton 360 comes in. They offer all the layers of protection, real-time device security. Don't forget about their virtual private network. It has bank-grade encryption. That means every text message, every email you send and receive, guess what? It's protected completely. They also afford you with Norton 360 a password manager. Easily, securely creates, stores, manages all your passwords, your credit card information, other credentials. And they have their PC Safe Cam that notifies you if cyber criminals are trying to hack into your webcam, and it will help block them. That's what Norton 360, full-on, complete coverage, layers of protection you need to maintain privacy with all these cyber criminals out there. Now, it's very inexpensive, but right now when you go to norton.com/Hannity, on top of their very low price, and how much is your privacy worth to you, you get an additional up to 50% off with your annual subscription. Everybody needs this. These people, they're ruining people's lives. No more privacy. Right now, just go to norton.com, and I know what it's like to be hacked. Oh, I know what it's like to have cyber attacks. We have like 1,000 of them a day on our website. Norton.com/Hannity, and use the promo code Hannity. You'll save even more off their already low price.
If you're ready to get out of the media spin room, you've come to the right place. This is the Sean Hannity Show.
Mike Lindell is with us. This cover, I can't get over this cover of his new book. All the money's going to be used to help addicts. We're losing 300 people a week in this country because of addiction to opioids. And him, when he was at the height of his addiction, and where he is today, 1,600 employees, MyPillow.com, the Sean Hannity Square. But this book is phenomenal. Every penny's going to go to help those that are addicted, from crack addict to CEO. Where are you with your family now? Your ex-wife, your kids?
You know, they work for my ex-wife, very amicable, and I have grandkids now.
Yeah.
And my kids.
And you got along with your kids?
Yeah. They're all working. They all work for My Pillow at one point or another, and it took a lot. You know, it took a lot of healing. It took a lot of time, and I think any addict, once you're set free and get your heart restored, I think if you don't get that foundation of getting that foundation of having God in your life again, I think a lot of addicts will get out of these secular treatment centers and they expect the world. They expect like a country song. Boy, my dog will like me again. My kids will like me. My truck will start. You know, this isn't a country song gone backwards. This is the real world, and you're not going to get trust right away. You know who trusted me right away? My drug dealers and my friends I did drugs with, because they knew I was done and they knew I was good. You know.
Are they out of that business?
Two of them work for me. They're born-again Christians. Of the three that did that intervention, all my friends, every one of them, is off crack that I had back in the day. And they seen my hope. A lot of them just seen that I could do it. A couple of them seen me when I was in the White House with the president on the Made in America Summit. They're looking on TV. I'm sitting next to them. They go, Jesus is real. There's no way this crack addict is on TV in the White House.
Unbelievable. That is hilarious. All right, we got to take a break. We're going to come back. What are the odds? From Crack Addict CEO, our buddy Mike Lindell is here. All the money's going to this new foundation of his to help people get off whatever drugs they happen to be on. It is an insidious evil. It's killing 300 Americans a week. We've got to end it. It's that serious. And the devastation and destruction to families all across this country is unbelievable. Quick break. We'll come back. Mike is, he's running out of things to say, so I guess it'll be a very short segment when we get back. You don't ever stop talking, do you?
Not no more. I could talk for a lot of years. Now I can.
Quick break. Right back. We'll continue.
Sean Hannity talks to the people involved in the top stories of the day, every day. Sean Hannity is on.
All right, 25 now until the top of the hour, 292 days. Yes, a tipping point. America, the world on the brink, and you get to shock the world and force these fake news so-called anchors to say the words, we can now project Donald J. Trump has been reelected president of the United States, and you will watch a mass meltdown of the mob in the media, which is nothing but an extension of all things radical, extreme, socialist, Democratic Party today. And, of course, that'll just further their hatred and rage towards Donald J. Trump. Amazing, though, the country's doing better. Our manufacturers, our car industries, $220 billion just for this year and next year alone. And still, the president has kept on the table. He's still putting the tariffs on China. That's how desperate China's become because of the president's tough economic policies. And the trade deal with Canada, Mexico, done, finished. Japan, same thing. Western European allies, same thing. Showed a lot of restraint when it came to Soleimani. I probably would have popped him after taking down U.S. drones. But you know what? The president was more patient than I was. No boots on the ground. No never-ending, conflicts abroad, protracted wars, boots on the ground. He took out the caliphate, bombing the crap out of them and getting rid of the Obama-era rules of engagement and unleashing our military might with the force that we're capable of. He took out Baghdadi and many of his top associates, and he took out the leader of the number one state sponsor of terror, Soleimani. I'd say not a bad first 3 years. What have the Democrats done? Nothing. Anyway, Mike Lindell, you know the president. You're friends with him, and you supported him from the get-go.
Yeah, I'm in a unique position. When I first met him, I was an ex-crack addict. I never voted. I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know the role they play in our daily lives. When I came out of addiction, Sean, I had a president giving money to evil empires. All my friends were unemployed. People were losing their houses. I had already lost mine. But I met him then, and it was just him and I. We met for a half hour. I walked out there. I go, this is the most common sense person and solution. He's going to be the greatest president ever. I went all in. I talked to a lot of his employees, and everyone loved him. You can learn a lot about someone, how their employees feel about him. And I went all in, and of course I was attacked right away after, I did a press release that I had met Donald Trump. And I went back to Minnesota, and normally I could say I walking across the street. How fast you walking? And I did this press release, and I was called a racist. I was called boycott them. All these stuff. They don't even know what we talked about.
By the way, they've tried to attack you because you advertise on Fox, this radio show.
Yeah, all that.
By the way, all of our advertisers go through this.
Right.
And you have told me in the past that when they do that, our audience buys more.
Oh, absolutely.
Greatest audience.
And now on Twitter they'll say boycott Mike Lindell and my pill, and the other guys will say no. Don't boycott him. He'll double his ads. We see enough of that guy. But I want to say something about with the president. So I went all in on faith there, and now I tell people all around me. I said, you know what? I told you so. I said I was there.
I don't say it enough, but
I was there, and I did I got to meet him, get to know him, and all this, and see his promises that he's kept. But I'll tell you one, that's everybody right now that I see around me, how politics does affect your daily life. I was telling you, and during the show, I couldn't do my ministry work and my thing for addiction if he didn't get rid of the bureaucracy that surrounds that. And another thing right now that I see when they brought the fake news, they'll call me all the time wanting quotes and stuff. They were talking about, a recession's coming. I kept him on the phone for 40 minutes without him saying a word.
I'm shocked.
And I go, you know what? Maybe even you can get a new job at a nice station. The economy's so good.
Oh, that's great.
And then but I want to tell you what's happening now. Entrepreneurs and are taking chances again on service business and products because the consumer confidence at an all-time high, and they have a safety net to fall back on because the wages keep going up.
It's amazing.
And it's amazing. And I just so thrilled for all these people that can finally live in no fear because they can just take chances now.
When you look at the statistics, one of the things I'm happiest about is, we now have on the economy, we have the best unemployment situation since 1969, record after record, low unemployment for every demographic, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, women in the workplace, youth unemployment. There was a fake news CNN poll that they had to even report that 76% of Americans see the Trump economy is in good shape. It's doing well.
Right.
Trump's blue-collar boom is shrinking income inequality. Nobody really wants to talk about that, but since the president's election, blue-collar workers have seen the largest growth in household wealth, net worth held by the bottom 50% of households, who, by the way, they only pay 1% of federal income tax.
Right.
I'm not critical. We have redistribution.
Absolutely.
You and I pay a lot.
Yep.
And I'm way too much in New York. And in Minnesota.
That's right.
But think about this. And more than 3 times we're seeing the net wealth, household wealth, increase for the bottom 50%, 3 times the rate of increase for the top 1% of households. I love that because I'm a former paperboy, dishwasher, busboy, waiter, bartender, the guy that painted houses, hung wallpaper, laid tile, framed roofs, fell 3 stories from a roof. That was 2 decades of my life. This was not a one-day deal.
Absolutely.
And then for me to have the opportunities I have are amazing. So let me ask you this. You go through all of this pain in your life. You see all of the pain, the destruction, the misery that goes along with addiction. We lose 300 people a week. They die, fellow Americans, because of addiction.
Right.
And I know it's complicated. You talked about when you were 7, your parents got divorced, and it was tough on you, and you've dealt with those underlying issues. How did people do it? I guarantee you there's somebody listening to this show.
Right. Well, until my network comes out, I'll tell you where you go. The faith-based treatment centers in this country, there's 3,600 of them that I've vetted. That's your Teen Challenge, your Salvation Army, your Union Gospel. They work. It's like 80% and above. You know what secular treatment is? Like 10% and below. And you need to get the right help and to get those wounds addressed. And with what I have seen out there is addiction. It's not just, it's just becoming it's affecting everyone because people are dying. But to have a president like we have, and I just talked to the president, the first lady, the stuff they did with the opiate bill and the things they're doing that allows the ministries and the faith-based treatment centers to finally do something and help. Because you know what? Before, when they would take money Guess what? Now take God out of your equation. That's what they make them do.
But the thing is I know people have been in rehab, and they've been there again and again and again. For example, the statistics on opioid addiction, and it starts, these kids in particular, scares me because, the frontal lobe of male kids is not fully formed till they're 25. Right. And for some longer. But that's worrisome because your rational thinking, your common sense is not fully developed. But if you get addicted, if you start with a Vicodin, a Percocet, an OxyContin from grandma's medicine cabinet, then that's gone. Then you're looking on the street paying $80 a pill. There's only so many kids that are in high school that have $80 for a pill every day or more. Then somebody says, well, the bag of heroin's only $10 and it's a much bigger high. Once that you get addicted, the odds are 15% can get out. That's it.
That's because you're getting those statistics from secular treatment centers. I'm telling you, you got to get the right help. And,
I agree with you.
You get the right help, and now that help's going to become available. When my network gets out there, you're going to see it's going to be the most amazing thing because addicts need to be the ones the hope for the addicts is other addicts.
So people buy your book, and you're going to donate every penny to this new foundation from Crack Addict to CEO. Now, somebody's addicted. They come to one of these centers of yours, right?
No, they're going to come to my website. Here's what it's going to be. They're going to come to the Lindell Recovery Network website.
Right.
I'm going to be the tour guide. I'm going to tell my crack story, what I was.
Right.
I'm going to say, put in your age and your addiction. They'll put in their age and their addiction, and let's say a 22-year-old opioid addict might not relate to a 50-year-old meth addict, right?
Sure.
So they put that in there, and now I'm going to have all these videos. These got people that have made it through, but it's not a bottom, the commonality of the drug. So they've all been set free. These are the successful ones.
So for every drug, you'll have a story. You'll have stories.
Every drug will show people that made it through, but you won't know how they made it through. And now, in order to get this access code, you're going to access. I'm going to come on and say, hey, you guys want the best help ever? It's inside this website, inside this app. You need an access code. Where are you going to get that access code? You got to go to a church. I've vetted so far over 6,000 churches in this country. You got to go to a church and sit through one sermon, and then they're going to have access codes for you. You can pay it back. I'm a salesman. I'll go, you guys just go there and go, no, I'm not going to listen. And then you get it home and you open up the website, and there's going to be the most amazing help you ever see, which I can't even say all that now. But part of it will be the faith-based treatment centers that I vetted. It took 2 years to vet 3,700 treatment centers in this country that work. Start with the Salvation Army and Teen Challenge.
Unbelievable idea, but that means you really have to want to be sober.
Well,
you have to have the
Sean,
desire.
The key is to see the hope. Let me tell you, I believe addiction is an opportunity of a lifetime for our country. They're the ones looking for hope. Everyone's affected. I don't care, like I said before, how many forks you eat with, it doesn't matter. Whether you're addicted to porn, gambling, crack, alcohol, it doesn't matter.
And your center will help those addicts too.
This website is going to help every single one. And what it is, it's kind of a hub of a wheel. I have all this help on there. That there's 3 different forms. And it's not going to help like 10,000 people overnight. It's going to help millions.
Will these 6,000 churches that you've been vetting for the last couple of years, are they going to go out into the neighborhoods where we know a lot of this activity takes place?
The addict's going to see the hope, and they're going to go. You bring them to you. It's like when you see my pillow. They come to me, the box stores. The addict wants to see hope.
When is the addict going to get a hold of the internet? In other words, like I'm asking a serious question because I want you to reach everybody.
Every one of them's got a phone, and it's like I say, it's not just the addict. That's
a good point.
It's not just the addict.
They got the phone so they can get the drugs.
Right, but it's not just the addict on the street. I was a very functioning addict for 20 years. You wouldn't know if I was on drugs for 20 years.
Come on, people you did business with over that whole period, they didn't know something was up.
Well, no, they did. Oh, you mean the people I did business with? Well, I was in the bar business, so obviously they knew. A lot of them.
They were doing it with you.
Right. But I mean,
by the way, the best thing I did was get out of the bars.
Right. I mean, there's very functioning addicts out there, but I say addiction affects all of us, and I think it's an opportunity because, like I said, in the Great Depression, they were looking for, praying to get physical food and stuff. Here, people are praying every day. What about the addicts' families? you need to bring them back. They can go get that access code in the churches too. They go back and get it, and they're going to be, they need God in this country that's been taken out of our schools. We have a generation that doesn't have family. Do you know, Sean, I just launched my book in a prison 2 days ago. I think I told you that.
That's right. I launched my books. I always go to prison first.
Right, but they did a poll in a prison a year ago.
By the way, how do you launch a book in a prison? You got to give them the book.
I did give them the book, absolutely. But I wanted to make a difference there, and I want to tell you. They did a poll in a prison 2 years ago. Now, what do you think? That's felons, and now They did this poll. How many inmates where they polled them? Both their parents got married, planned the kid, had the kid, and they were still in prison to that day. Zero. You're 100% right.
I held up a zero.
It was zero because that's the family and God been taken out of our country. Divorces are common, fatherless in the inner city or anywhere. There's fatherless everywhere. My addiction, I really believe, goes back to divorce. I got moved into a school, didn't have, I was different because of divorces.
You're 7 years old. I want you to help everybody you can. I really do. I admire what you're doing. And I want everybody to know that this is a worthwhile project. And you know what? The story. Is anyone doing your movie? Anyone buy your movie rights?
I'm going to play myself, too.
Are you really?
Yep.
Of course you are. It's not like you have, why would I expect that? You're like Rocky. You're like Sylvester Stallone.
I just want to help people.
I've never seen a cover like this. It's a hologram of Mike Lindell when he was at his low point, and then the hologram of when you're at your high point. Then when you're 7, which is when you believe your trouble starts.
Right.
And then you now are recovered, happy, and you're helping other people. The book is called, What Are the Odds? From Crack Addict to CEO. We'll put it up on Hannity.com. You're helping a lot of people. Look, I'm a Christian that knows I need to be the better Christian. I'm the one that needs the saving kind of Christian. And I'll tell you, there's no doubt you will put here, and you went through all that crap, in my mind, for that purpose. Yeah. And your products are amazing. Speaking of which, mypillow.com. This is your ad. Right in front. Listen, I love your products.
Well, thanks. I'm
an insomniac. I don't sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, but I sleep better because of you.
Right.
The pillows work. I fall asleep faster. I stay asleep longer. Now, then you come up with the MyPillow mattress topper. I'll take a picture. It's on my bed. That helps. It's the best extra mattress you ever have in your life. Then you have the full body pillow. You even have pillows for dogs, which is amazing. And the Giza sheets, I've got to tell you, they've become my favorite. Where are they? The world's best cotton. Yeah, it's only grown in a tiny portion of the world.
Between the Nile River, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Sahara Desert, where the climate's perfect for one crop cotton.
And you got 1,600 employees in Minnesota. Business has never been better.
Never been better. So I want to say that, too. You know what? Anyone out there is afraid to get behind our president and this administration, you know what? Get rid of that fear, because my best day is right now at MyPillow.
Well, we have the Sean Hannity Square, and every day there's a new sale going on. So you go to mypillow.com, go to the Sean Hannity Square, and you get special deals right now. If you get the Giza Dream sheets, the best, softest, extremely durable sheets made from the world's best cotton, you're going to get another set free. mypillow.com, promo code, you go to the Sean Hannity Square, or call 800-919-6090. Mike's book, From Crack Addict to CEO. I've never seen a cover like this, a hologram. And I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. I mean, getting to know you and your life story is amazing. And it's an honor to also call you a friend. Mike Lindell. Thank you, my friend.
And if they get the book today, I'll ship the whole MyPillow order for free if they use your code.
Perfect. Sean Hannity Square. Quick break, right back.
All the breaking news with the analysis to help you make sense of it all. This is the Sean Hannity Show.